Hey everybody, welcome back. Gerbil here, and today's video is actually something I'm really excited to share. It comes off of a collab I just did with Nooch Too Good, aka Star Wars Dad. If you don't know him, sincerely, there's a link down in the comments. Go check, or the description, check him out. His channel is amazing. He is a super casual, cool, fun guy. Makes a lot of great content, and this was my second time on his show, and I hope to get back over there and chat with him more. He's really cool. Anyway, so today's video, am I crazy? So I don't think so, and I think if you actually stick with this and you watch the whole video, I think whether you are early or even late gamer, there's some good content here for you. But this is my farming strategy that I pursued with my alt account, the Lit, and it is very unique, and I think it is very viable, and maybe even among the top 2 or 3, maybe farming pathways, because of all the recent changes to accelerated characters, to the raid currency changes, and a few other factors that I will explain as we go. But let's get started first off by looking at the rationales here. If you are a new count, and even if you're not a new player right now, the following stuff you need to know. What is really important? Well, at its core, Star Wars Galaxy Heroes is a farming game. You are farming characters, you are farming gear, you are leveling them up, and in order to be successful with this, you need crystal income. And from day one, when you unlock the fleet arena, you have the potential, if you have planned for it, to secure the #1 rank, earning 400 daily crystals. And this is what I did with my Lit account, and this is what you should be aiming for at honestly any level of the game. You should be aiming for that top 10, top 20 guaranteed daily payout. And it's important to know that the daily payout rotates. It's different for everybody. I didn't know that when I started. I thought everybody had the same payout at the same time. It's not true. So there are 24 hours, and you can change it even, I think, to minutes in the settings in between. So you get your payout at a time that works for you. So find what works for you. Find the time of the day that has lower competition. Reach out to the players in your shard if you need. Find out what time their payouts are so that you're not competing with them. And then you can almost guarantee to secure yourself 400 daily crystals. Now, number 2, I think, is rather debatable. Put GAC in there. Now, when you start the game out and you get into GAC for the first time, you're going to be in the low-level Carbontes and Carbonite lead, and your daily crystals is like meh. But at the end of each win, at the end of each week, at the end of each season, there is a significant crystal payout that just gets bigger and bigger. And as you eventually work your way up, it gets way bigger. I don't really know that this is early game the place to focus on for crystal income, but it is definitely what you need to be aspiring towards long game to maximize your daily, weekly, monthly crystal income. Now, raids, I think, are probably third most important thing in the game, especially with the currency changes. I know it's a little controversial, but honestly, I think it's a very net positive, because rather than randomly receiving rewards that you may not need, or have to wait 2 weeks for a character to level up, you can now take all the raid currency you get and dump it straight into something. And I have noticed both my alt and my primary Gerbil account are accelerating the character development much faster under the new system, especially high-level relics, because I'm able to focus 100% of the rewards I want towards the things I want. I think it's very good. So you need to get into a guild that is launching these raids every 3 to 4 days. I mean, realistically, the moment a raid stops, you should be starting another raid. So my Lit account, I switched guilds actually, and there was a long time in the coming, and my previous guild was really great to help me get started, but I just took my 2.5 million Lit account and jumped into a 430 million GP account because of the farm that I did here. This farm got that insignificant tiny account into a super late game account because it has what they need, and I'll explain more in a moment. But that means I'm now going to be getting crate rewards, Rise of Empire rewards, and other stuff because of this farm. So whether this farm strategy that I'm going to share is crazy or not, it landed my baby account into a late game guild, which is going to just exponentially increase my reward structure. All right, next is assault battles. Why assault battles? These happen 6 times a month, every single month. And they provide you relic farming materials, Gear 12 finishing materials, they provide character shards. So for earlier accounts, you need to focus on these. You need to get teams that are able to handle the assault battles. And a couple of these, you can hit the challenge tiers where that relic stuff is really early. So I'll show you that also as we go. Next up, we got territory battles. It's another guild event. Again, you need to get into a good guild to benefit from this. And then we got territory wars, a guild event, get into a good guild. And then of course the elephant in the room is Conquest. It's a 2-week event. You get all sorts of rewards that I don't think are actually that useful relative to the time commitment, but what you do get is the Conquest character that may be significant, or it may be like, I'm good. But you need that character, so do at least try to get like the gold crate if you can. But anyway, so what rosters, what is the farming strategy you need? Well, fleets are number one. No matter what, fleets are number one. Fleets are superior to GLs. GLs are superior to other teams. And I'm not saying go Rogue One and Bad Batch. This is an example of synergy. Why fleet? More often than not, early game, mid game, late game, Kyber 1-2, you will win or lose because of fleets. It's just nuts how many people actually totally ignore their fleets, like have great rosters and meh fleets. And then when they go into GAC, they have nothing to defend with and they can't beat your fleet. If you get an Executor early game, you win GAC. If you get an Executor early game, you get 400 crystals a day. Get a solid fleet. Number 2, GLs. Aim for a GL, but I'm actually not going to recommend that early game yet. I'm going to recommend bypassing that with the penultimate goal of getting GLs down the road. What you do need to aim for are synergistic teams. Do not take in like Hera lead with Akbar, and then you like Dark Trooper, so put him there, and Jedi Consular's a healer. No, you need teams that have solid synergies. All right, so this is a very popular guide out there for like how all the teams mesh together. Arnold puts it out every year. God bless him for doing this and sharing it. It's not a guide of where to start or where to finish. It's showing how to connect and who's needed for what. But it's really useful. So if you don't have this, there's a link down below. Go to his channel, download it, and every time he updates it, so 2023, 24, whatever, watch it because it is super good. But most people are going to tell you to start here in Phoenix, and that is old school thinking, my friends. It's not a bad place, but it's a bad place to start. Because Hera is needed for profundity, the rest are not needed for anything. Hera has now been moved to a hard node, which is going to make it difficult to get her. And then once you have the Phoenix Squad, you do nothing with them pretty much for the rest of the game. You may be saying, but what about Ghost and Phantom, the ships? You don't need them. You 100% do not need them, and I'll explain more as we come across that. Where you do, in my humble opinion, need to start is developing an absolute awesome Home 1 fleet. Yes, please don't leave. I will convince you in a second. And go bounty hunters, because the bounty hunters are going to get you Han's Millennium Falcon, probably the best ship in the game, which you'll use with Home 1, then later Profundity, and they're going to get you, of course, Executor. You need these. And then, believe it or not, a bounty hunter fleet works really good with Tarkin, and you need Tarkin to complete the weekly event to get Zeta mats. All right, so where to farm? Fleets first as your primary focus. Well, how do you get fleets? You need a Home 1, in my humble opinion. You need a Tarkin fleet. Well, Tarkin, you get bounty hunters. That takes us over to Bosk in the back left up here. For Home 1, you need a bunch of different rebels that actually fit into 2 squads perfectly, Admiral Raddus and Mon Mothma, who happen to be among the best non-GL defensive squads in the game. Jump over to SWGOH.gg, look at the defensive holds, sort by like hold rate, filter out the Galactic Legends, and you will find these 3 squads, but Adrad at the top, Mon Mothma and Bosk will be in the top 10, 15 defensive squads. And early game, if you put the Omicrons on Mon Mothma and Adrad, people are going to have the hardest time. You are going to get an insane number of holds early through early mid game. It's not really till late game that people start to get things like Traya, which is more accessible now, but other squads that handle these more efficiently. So you're going to almost guarantee holds, and you don't need high gear. You can leave Radis at like a 5-star gear 11, and then the other characters, they don't need Kyrotech. None of these people need Kyrotech except for Kyle, I think, and Radis. So just don't worry about him. Leave him at like gear 10. 5-star, and then gear up his squad. I'll show it in a second. Now the front row, I got Palpatine, I got Fifth Brother, and I got CLS, and I'll explain the squads in a second. But the fleets, Home 1 is going to take you right into Profundity when you feel ready. Tarkin with Bounty Hunters is going to take you straight into Executor early game. So by the time you hit 3 million GP, you could have all 6 squads on the left of the screen, and you could have Executor and put it on GAC defense and a Home 1 on offense that can beat any non-GL fleet. And what I mean by GL fleet is Profundity, Executor. You could beat Negotiator, Malevolence, Tarkin, Thrawn, Radis. The Finalizer. It's easy. You will win with the Home 1 offense fleet. Put your Bounty Hunter Tarkin on defense until you get Executor. All right, so why these particular squads? Palpatine Vader is just a GAC dominating squad, even by themselves. You don't even need a team with them. Inquisitors, I'm going straight for GI into Reva, and that's how my tiny account got elevated right into a 400 million GP guild. I had people actively recruiting me. I posted and yeah, maybe it's because I make content on YouTube, but I know only one person mentioned that. I had 7 400+ million GP guilds reach out to me and say, hey, we'd love to have your Inquisitors. It was crazy. So yeah, Territory Wars, Conquest, GAC, Assault Battles. CLS beats anything out there, including a couple GLs. No, it doesn't beat everything, but early mid-game, whatever the defense is, CLS it, CLS it, CLS it. You're just going to dominate there. And then, of course, the defense squads I just talked about, and these squads are pretty much all pilots to get your fleets going. Nice thing is, as you progress into that mid game, your Inquisitors are going to take you straight to Grand Inquisitor. It's going to get you into a solid guild, and then you're going to start working on Reva. And then, of course, Palpatine. You already got you want Star Killer there, so you just add Mara Jade, and then you've already got Kyle from the Mon Mothma squad. You fill in Dash and Talon. It's only 2 characters, and whoops, there's Star Killer. Put that on defense, early mid game, and again, your opponents are going to have to throw a GL at it, or they're going to struggle, right? So it's all about dominance here. So here's the fleets: Home 1, Biggs, Biston, Ravensclaw. That's your starting lineup. Hans Molina Falcon, first reinforcement. That's all you need. Cassian's there as a backup, but once you call in the Falcon, you should win the match. You only need those 4 fleets or ships. Tarkin, you go straight Bounty Hunters into Executor. Once you get Executor, then you go straight Empire with the Sith Bomber. And those 4 ships right there, give or take, I'm a little rusty on it, but those 4 ships right there will be Profundity. So you have Home 1 to beat all non-GL ships, and then you've got Tarkin that can actually beat one of them, beat Profundity, and of course it's decent against a variety of other fleets too. But it's either way, defense, offense. You cannot really go wrong with this as a GAC or fleet arena early to early mid game. All right, now let's look at this Rebel fleet, because this is the one that people are hesitant about. It's because they don't know how to play the Ravensclaw. So I'm going to show you one example of that in a second. But look at what you get out of this. Mon Mothma gets early game 4. She gets a full squad. Done. You have a full squad, Mon Mothma, put the Zeta on her, you're going to hold. Admiral Radish, you got 4 of the 5 of his squad, and CLS, of course, you got Han Solo Chewie, which you cannot go wrong with no matter what you do. Those 2 are so good in so many places. Put Han Solo early game in any squad in arena, and that shoots first stun is just so effective. All right, so let's take a quick vid here. And we're going to go against the number 6 here, the highest rank. It's a 7-star Tarkin with Bounty Hunters. They're working on Executor. And here's how this goes. Just watch how easy we are going to walk through this squad. So here we go. Open up. We're going to target lock the Raven's Razor Crest. We're going to double tap it with Biggs. Now, Houndstooth gets taunt, and this is where people get worried. But no. Remember what I said? When the Falcon comes in, we're going to win. So we're gonna basic because nobody had target lock and he didn't have foresight, so we can't like bypass him. Normally he just bypasses, walks past him. So we're just gonna basic, no problem, bide our time. And here comes Falcon, watch this. And this is a 6-star Falcon. And we're gonna basic. And bye-bye. See, the Houndstooth is not a problem. When the Falcon comes in, everybody attacks, everybody gains foresight, and then it does a basic. Usually you kill the tank. And there goes the Raven's Claw, Razor Crest, and of course, there goes Xanadu, and we win, right? This was easy. This was less than a minute. It's like 45 seconds for the win. There is no fleet in the game, non-GL, like, Executor Profundity, that this cannot beat. And other than, like, Malevolence is trickier, you gotta learn the strategy. Negotiator, you gotta learn the strategy, and it takes a little bit longer, but you can easily climb the ranks there. Now, when we look at the full squads here, CLS, Raddus, Mon Mothma, look at all the pilots, and then I win Inquisitors. You don't have to go Inquisitors, but I really win Inquisitors for the GI that got me into the guild, Bounty Hunters, and Empire. And again, look at all the pilots. It's about that fleet control, right? In modern military, he who controls the skies wins, right? Why would it be any different if you control space? In fact, in reality, controlling space would be better. Yeah, okay, whatever. Moving on. So yeah, they're pretty much all pilots. So you have almost no waste here. Yes, the Inquisitors are really, really hard with all the chirotechs. I get it, but there's no waste in the long run. Okay, so as you do progress mid-game, you can bring in just 4 new characters, as I said, working towards Starkiller. You will likely already have Old Ben geared up, maybe gear 10, maybe gear 11, because you needed him to get CLS, no problem. Bring in Rey or Visas. I prefer Rey, but most people go with Visas. I don't know, and there you go. You unlock Grand Inquisitor. Vader then becomes like the person who gets left out a bit, but you can still build a simple leftover Empire squad, or just figure out who Vader solos in GAC and just go have him merciless massacre people for the solo win bonus. All right, now other sources of income, assault battles. These are my recommendations here. Inquisitors will challenge tier 3. It's grindy, but there's several strategies out there. I have a decent one that can help you get challenge tier 3, 3-star it, so that you just sim it going forward. The droid / Empire one, Emperor Palpatine, Vader, 5th brother, 9th sister, 7th sister will walk you all the way through that. There's an amazing turn meter loop. You can just clear it pretty quickly. I don't know. I've never done it well with droids. I've struggled. Rebels, I have a guide that can show you how to 3-star the challenge tier 3 in under 4 minutes. It is amazingly simple. Links down below. Now the rest of these, there was obviously no Jedi and Sith. Yeah, you could go in here with Palpatine, Vader, but if you follow this guide, you're not going to have any other Sith lined up, so you're going to have to farm somebody, but that's okay. You'll get there eventually. Imperial Troopers, you'll get there, is way easier than the Bounty Hunters for the Rebel Roundup, but you can get there with Bounty Hunters. You're not going to get Challenge Tier 3. Troopers are going to be way, 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 way better for this in the long run for sure. And then the last one, Night Sister Phoenix. Everybody hates this one. Go Night Sisters. Again, Phoenix, don't touch them. Seriously, just ignore them. Now finally, this brings us to Conquest. Inquisitors have been probably the most effective singular team in Conquest for a while, and I don't see that changing. So if you have clear vision on this or can screenshot it, these 3 teams alone pretty much cover the entire current Conquest between Inquisitors, between CLS and ADRAD. And I have other videos dedicated to these, but you're probably wondering, like, how does ADRAD help you get the Survive with T3 or Seer Junda or something? And it's really easy. Say you have a Gear 1 Level 1 T3 or Cal. They don't have to have anything. You just unlock them. Then you take this ADRAD team, pull out probably K2, you throw in that odd character, you go in, you just survive. Seriously, you just survive. That 5th character, T3 Cal, they're gonna die. Let them die. Before you end the match, trigger Hope from Admiral. It revives everybody at full health and protection. You kill off the enemies and you win with 3 stars. And usually when you trigger that Hope, that's the win. You trigger it, poof, bad guys fall down, and you win. You also get the unaligned Force users with that. You get the no Jedi, no Sith with that, and then by mix matching people as necessary, you can dominate. You can absolutely dominate. Like, how do you get armor shred? Well, if you have Moff, that's good. If you have Sabine, that's great. But if you, or gas, which a lot of people won't early game, of course. But Fifth Brother will give you that one. It needs a Zeta, of course. So it is a little bit, you know, you got to invest in it. But these 3 squads will dominate the current GAC, and you know what? I think they'll dominate the next one also. I really don't see it changing much. Maybe more Tuscans or something needed in the future conquests, but yeah. So there you have it, folks. This is my crazy non-traditional farming guide. It's not for everyone, but maybe it could be for you. Maybe you got something out of it. If you did, you know what to do. Push that like button down there, please. It's like right there. I would appreciate it. Hit that sub, and I'll catch you later. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.